We all know that as more introverted, as more highly sensitive people, we can get so drained and so exhausted in group situations. I know for most of us, our lives have been spent trying to adapt and change ourselves and manage our energy when we've been forced into groups in the way that the schooling system works in most of our countries, the way that the workplace works in so many situations. And I know that feeling at the end of the week when you can't wait to just get home and do nothing after being surrounded by people all day, every day. And as someone who absolutely worked in workplaces where I was so excited to get to the end of the week and just come home and do nothing, when we move into our own business, especially as solo business owners, we can actually find that that time alone can start to become unproductive. We can get all up in our heads. And there are some situations where being in a group setting can actually be really helpful. So if this sounds too good to be true, or it's something that you want to know more about, stick around because that's what today's video is all about. Even now, as a full grown-up, whenever I think about group situations, I always think about group projects at school and at uni, where I always ended up doing the lion's share of the work and getting annoyed and wishing that I could have just done it on my own. And so I totally understand anyone's aversion to working or being in a group situation. And I guess I'm thinking about this a lot at the moment because I do notice when people come into my free Facebook group for introverts, when they think about joining my programs over and over again, there seems to be a collective aversion to being in group situations. I don't know if it's a throwback to that. I don't know if it's because we're always told that introverts hate being in groups or what it is, if it's just our past experiences. But the thing that I've noticed is that I've definitely had times in my adult life where I have really thrived in group settings and other times where I felt drained, overwhelmed, and just drowned out by all of the noise. And so I absolutely understand. And so over the years, I've obviously been in lots of different group programs. The first thing I ever joined was Marie Forleo's B School, which is not a group program, but just an online course really, that had a massive community even when it was only a couple of years old, and it has definitely grown since then. And I remember feeling so lost in the fray of just the utter amount of people in that group community. But the following year, when I joined the Beautiful You Life Coaching Academy pilot round, I noticed the complete opposite. We were a very intimate group. It was run by someone who knew us all to some extent and was really aware of the fact that there are more introverted personality types. There are people who need a little bit more time before they can ask questions. And Julie Parker, the CEO and founder of Beautiful You, always kept this in mind when running, and still does today, knows the kinds of people, the different personality types that need different things and caters to that. And that absolutely helped me to feel really seen, really safe, and really heard. And I'm sure I would have felt differently about taking part in group programs if it hadn't been for this amazing experience that I had doing Beautiful You. This is obviously something that's been on my mind a lot this week because I've opened the doors to my signature group program, Introverts Elevated. And the thing that people often say to me time and time again is that they would really love to join, but they're hesitant because of the group setting and that they've been part of groups in the past and always felt like they just got lost in the background. And I completely understand because when I was just starting out in my business, I was definitely always working one-on-one with people where I could. It's only been in the last couple of years that I've truly come to appreciate the value of group programs. Not only having incredible experiences myself, being able to feel the energy of a group who are super aligned, who are really working within the energy of a group container and there to support and uplift each other, but also when I have run them myself, being able to actually set the intention of that container, calling in people who are similar kinds of personalities, who will be able to support and uplift each other without anyone kind of overtaking or overpowering the group. And the things I've noticed in those kinds of group settings is that we're often drawn to someone who has something that we have, even if it's dormant within us, a leadership style, a skill set, a certain kind of energy, or just an aligned set of values or, shared visions for the future. And what happens is when you're drawn to somebody, very similar kinds of people are also drawn. You don't have to all be the same person. And this isn't even about being introverted and extroverted. It's an energy thing. And it can be that what happens in those situations is it's not just the leader that you get the chance to connect and collaborate with, but it's also the other people in the group. When I did energy and soul medicine with the Soul Medicine Academy, not only was Melissa Sandon, the founder of Soul Medicine Academy, an incredible person to learn from and be part of a group experience with, but the other women that were drawn to that program were also incredibly talented and wonderful energy wielders in their own right. And so what I noticed was when I was going through something, when I was in the darkest depths of personal healing and transformation, that having them also holding me within that container was an incredible support and an incredible way to move through it quickly without just getting stuck in my own stuff. As I've started to lead groups myself in the past few years, I've really noticed that same thing happen. It doesn't put pressure on me to always have all of the answers and hold everything for the entire group. We come together in a co-created space and we get to do that with each other, and it's so beautiful. The other thing is that people say to me all the time that they don't know how to make friends as adults, especially when they're working in their own business. And being part of an intimate group is the easiest way to make lifelong friends. It's not like when you worked in a workplace and your shared kind of experience in that workplace drew you together. When you're having an incredible transformation, when you are part of something that is aligned with the direction that you want to head in your life, in your business, whatever it might be, you find that your soulmates are often drawn to these situations, and some of the friendships and collaborations that I've had the pleasure of having in the last few years have been solely because I said yes to a group that I didn't really know why I was even saying yes to it. I just felt drawn to it. Another weird thing that happens when you feel drawn to a group situation and you're not sure why, but you just say yes to it because you can feel that the energy is going to help you elevate to the next level, is that sometimes you will find that there are people in that group who see your experience and expertise and want to be part of that. So without trying to ever sell anyone or even get people to work with me who I've met in different group situations, just their being near me in proximity has led to clients that I never expected to get. And I've seen this in the groups that I've led as well. People working together and collaborating and hiring each other has been just such an amazing way to grow your own network and get in front of some new people who can end up being lifelong friends, collaborators, or even clients. And just a side note there, I genuinely think that that only works when you have zero intention of trying to get anyone to sign up to work with you, and you just show up as your best self in a program, and people will just feel that. So I just want to say that because I know that people can sometimes think about joining groups with the sole intention of trying to get new clients, and I'm definitely not a fan of that. And the other thing that I love about groups I love one-on-one, but sometimes when you're in the thick of it, when you're going through stuff, when you're in the middle of, launching something, or you're in a transformative kind of, space where you're just showing up and sitting in front of a person with that level of intensity can feel too much if you're a highly sensitive person. Being in a group can be so amazing to be able to actually choose to step back a little bit and that not be a big deal. There are opportunities where you can observe, where you can help and support the other people in the group, where you can, really ride the energy of someone who's kind of hit their momentum and hit their stride and be uplifted by their energy and their wins. And then there's also times where you can be held by the rest of the group. I honestly could not tell you the number of times and the absolute joy that I have felt in my heart to not only be held and supported by the intimate groups that I've had the pleasure of being part of, but also being able to do the same in exchange. And it's just incredible. And so these are just some of the many, many reasons that I love not just being part of groups, especially when I found ones that that really resonate with me and I just know that they're going to be an amazing experience, but to also hold space and hold the container of a group myself. It is something that is absolutely wonderful, and I hope that as an introvert, as a highly sensitive person, whether you're in business or whether you've been thinking of taking part in some kind of group outside of that, I really hope that this video will help you to think about some of the amazing ways that you can be uplifted and energized as an introvert in a group setting when maybe before now your experience has not always been the best. I absolutely know that sometimes it can feel draining, and having the option to be able to jump off a call or leave an event and go home when you need to is something that you're not going to be in a group all day long. It's not an 8 hours a day kind of thing. If you have any questions at all, or if you have any different thoughts, please let me know in the comments below. If you've enjoyed this video, I hope that you'll leave it a like, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so that you never miss a video from me. And I just want to give a shout out to last week's comment of the week. Megan from Joyful Mud Puddles with Megan Jackson said, "This video was great because I was reminded the structures I'm building are going to really help me along. I'm working on owning my sensitive nature and listening more to myself, not the rest of the loud voices out there." I would also love to hear from you because I want to make sure that these videos are really helpful to you. So if you have any questions or anything that you would like me to do a video on in the future, please just drop a comment below or send me an email to hello@catherinemackenzie-smith.com.